So there needs to be more consistency in what is taught as well. Any other questions? Yes.
I noticed that you said that you work with at-risk students and at-risk schools. What makes students and schools at risk exactly?
There are many things. Sometimes it can be that they have a learning disability. Perhaps they have a difficulty in reading comprehension and being able to understand what they read. But perhaps they can speak well. I mean, sometimes they can speak and answer the question, but perhaps they can't write it. Or they're students where maybe they have a single parent family and maybe they've had unfortunate circumstances. I've had some students who would miss a whole year of school because their mom and the kids had to live in a car for a year. You know, when that happens, there's a learning gap. They'll miss out on a little part of the curriculum. Well, in high school, they can often catch up on that. Or they're students who get in gangs and get into after-school and extracurricular activities that are not helping them, that are causing them to be unfocused, without focus on their education career. Sometimes their parents are gang members. Sometimes their parents are going through divorce. Sometimes they might have an illness like diabetes or epilepsy or some kind of illness that they need a little extra care with a teacher on the side to make sure that their physical needs are being met. We adopted a young girl who's now 11 who's mildly autistic, and she's at risk even though I'm a teacher, her parent's a teacher, and everything else about home is fine. But that's one of those incidents that we look at, that we want to make sure those kids are serviced properly and meet their needs. Any other questions?
Yeah, budgetary question. Well, first, let me backtrack. I totally agree with you. I also went through the California school system back when we were in the top 5, maybe not number 1, but we were in the top 5. I cannot say enough about the teachers that I had, K through 12. And yes, it was Los Angeles Unified, believe it or not. I say that and people kind of look astonished, but they were wonderful because they were there aside from the curriculum. These were people who wanted to be there. They wanted students to learn. They wanted you to expand your mind and think outside of just your small world here. And so I had wonderful instructors. But what do you do in our current budget crisis, in our current economy, where budgets are being cut back and schools are being run more like businesses than they are educational systems? I'd always understood that this was a nonprofit organization. We were not trying to make money here. And I say this as an instructor on this campus, that it seems to be that the college is looking at this as a business, and how do we save money, and the last thing on their mind is the education of students that are coming through. And I understand that there are challenges when there's no money and the economy is bad, but there has to be an answer for that. There has to be some way to get beyond, we don't have the money to do this, and focus on the student. And I'm just wondering if you have any ideas on how to accomplish that. How do we get past the fact that we are struggling financially in this nation?
I believe there are quite a few components to that answer, and one being, even though I believe we need to focus on academics, we also need to assure we have vocational courses for our young people, especially for those who want to work right after high school. We have to bring some of those back. We have to build our music programs again that we know have proven to provide so much for many students in the past. I know it's unfortunate that many band and music programs have had to rely now on booster clubs, but that is a possibility. It's not my first choice, but it's an option. Also, our district had a centrally located ROP program, so that we didn't have to have a full-blown vocational program at each high school. Usually it's a junior or senior anyway who would be in these courses, so they're more able to travel a little distance to a central location in a district. If you had smaller districts too, that would bring those central locations throughout a larger area where students could access them more economically. You can have a wider range of classes then. You can have truck driving, upholstery, nursing, beauticians, animal care, child care, floral training. You can have all kinds of coursework, even business merchandising, where students can get a job right after high school from having a few ROP classes that also count for a diploma or an AA degree. You have a certain amount of electives, and you can choose that according to your goals. Now, as far as budgetary, just getting more stringent right now, the unfortunate thing is you're going to have to increase class sizes a little bit. Maybe just one instead of 29 to 1, you might have 30 to 1. That's unfortunate. But then later on, holding on to the goal of when more money is there is to go back again to smaller class sizes. I do believe, although there are those who contend there are no great studies that prove it, my personal experience is that smaller classes than 30, more around 25, are very beneficial to everyone who's in school. It helps everyone in the total environment to be more successful. One thing our district did and saved a lot of money because we were a self-insured district. If you're a large district with many staff, you can save quite a bit of money. And I'm hesitant to mention this, but our teachers have done this for 9 years now because we wanted to keep other fellow teachers hired. That was the choice we had. Let teachers go or pay $30 a month for your health insurance for one person, $70 for a couple, and $90 for a family. And that freed up enough money to keep teachers on rather than let them go. And I think our first priority should be to keep teachers. That's the main mechanism whereby students are educated and learn. And they don't seem to do as well totally on computers. They need a live person to interact with them and help answer those questions that a computer cannot. So those are some suggestions. Now, I do believe that we could have more money in our state if we had a better business climate. If we had more jobs and more people working, we would have more tax revenue to bring us more money to the schools. And I've gone back and forth with my friends in the union who think we ought to raise taxes, and I believe lowering taxes and lowering business regulations would keep those businesses here. I mean, I think we can see it's been demonstrated to us here now that we are broke. Many of the businesses have left, and they're still leaving, and even people are leaving. That's money bleeding from our state. That's opportunity for our young people leaving California. So we need to make sure that we as adults provide that competitive climate for our kids so that they can get an education and get a job. Yes.
What can we, the college students, do to help improve the schools here in California?
One thing which I've seen you start is, and I think it's great, is to start a political club, whether it be Democrat or Republican or Independent. You need to express